So bear with me a second. In Vedic literature, there is this concept, I think an important point, that a king, a ruler, a government has karmic responsibility for the land and citizens that are under its rule, his rule or stewardship, and that king is specifically going to receive a portion of the karmic merits and demerits that those people incur. And the idea is that, if the people are edified and uplifted by your rule, if they're shepherded to the greater good, then that king deserves and should receive reputational and karmic benefits accordingly. It's good for everyone to glorify such a ruler and maybe repeat the process going forward. There's this idea. And whatever you think about karma, samsara, reincarnation, any of that stuff, it at least announces a moral, philosophical principle that I think is kind of undeniable, which is that leaders, rulers, governments, they do bear some moral responsibility for the actions, for the health, for the fate of their citizens. And where I'm going with this is that if you preside over the descent of your population into madness, to where the relationship to evidence is relaxed to the point of irrelevance, it bears notice in an accounting of how did that happen. And if you so there's a few things I want to talk about with regard to our own, perhaps, government's role in how this has happened. We have a consensus reality that's like a public good. Everybody sort of believes a lot of the same things, enough of the same things that we have a cohesiveness as a society. I think that everyone's general experience, I may be speaking out of turn, but I think everyone's general experience is that there is a fissure developing, growing, widening, deepening every day between people within this consensus reality. And that is how I'm measuring this growth in conspiratorial thinking. And so I think that if you as a government engage in secretive, nefarious activities of the kind that our government does not even contest that it did, mind control experiments, unconsented massive drugging of citizens, Tuskegee, you infect people with disease and deny them treatment just to watch what syphilis does to their brains, Abu Ghraib torture, black sites, mass surveillance, all of these things. Eventually, people's conspiracy theories end up validated, and you start to erode trust in government institutions. I think that's true when the government engages in atrocities as well. You're going to triple tap drone a wedding, hit the ceremony, the cleanup, the funeral. You're going to lead the country to war against Iraq on provably false intelligence. You're going to kill 1 million people with sanctions. You cede the moral high ground. If you can't govern from a high moral consensus, then eventually your word becomes untrustworthy. And so that was the point that I wanted to make, is that some of this dissent is not just demagoguery, and is not just people getting dumber on the internet, but that the authorities that you should be able to rely on, the organs of government that should be able to maybe set the record straight in certain ways, people have, in some cases, I'm not trying to absolve them of responsibility here. You're stupid if you don't think that there's any reason to get vaccinated against COVID or whatever your new thing is. But people have justifiably lost some of that trust, and I think that some of that loss of trust can be tied to actual things that happened in the world, conspiratorial or not.